Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. This is a review of the Sequent Elektron 2.3, and there's a sister collection of watches called the SuperCharger, and the only difference between the Elektron 2.3 and the SuperCharger 2.3 is the case. SuperCharger have steel cases, and these Elektron models have titanium cases, which is really fantastic. There is a lot to say about this timepiece, so I'm just going to say as much as I can, but really you're going to be able to read the full story on the full review article, which is on the aBlogtoWatch.com website. I've been sort of talking about Sequent for a while. Haven't spent too much time with their watches because I think some of them were a little bit early in terms of the technology, in terms of my expectations. But when this version came out, I was like, you know what? That's the one I want to review. They really did something amazing here, and they just sort of cleaned up everything and made this really cool. And they're going to add more, and that's what's really interesting. Is I think this is an amazing evolution of a product that's founded on the idea of what if we took modern technology and married it to the design ethos that makes a lot of people like traditional watches. So if you had to take a smartwatch and fit it to the mold of a traditional watch as much as possible, Sequent would be the answer to that. And they have a pretty good assortment of models at different price points. And this is sort of one of the more high-end models, still under $1,000 for sure, but you know, a really good merger of sort of the world of the old and the new. So let's talk about the Elektron 2.3. Let's first talk about what we're seeing on the dial here and the case back. This is 42 millimeters wide, wears pretty well. Titanium case is nice and light, sapphire crystal. I mean, the construction and overall design is very much in line with traditional watches. And the movement, which is a thoroughly modern quartz movement with Bluetooth connectivity, has two ways of receiving power. First, you can use a little docking station, and you can see the two power terminals right there in the side of the case, which sort of sits there. I never had to use that system one time. The reason being was the fact that I was able essentially to just wear the watch and have total power. So what you have here through this generating system, this is a electromagnetic generator, and rather than it turning and winding a mainspring, what was happening is when this turns, the magnets move across this copper coil, push electrons into it like any electromagnetic generator, and that powers the battery. It works so well, and I guess this thing doesn't use that much power, that they sort of promise unlimited power if you wear it enough. And when I was wearing this watch every single day, I checked the power reserve all the time, and you do that by pushing in the crown twice. Here it goes to about 90% because I actually haven't been wearing it in a while. I was just curious to see what would happen, but it was consistently at 100% every time I would wear it. So I think what's interesting is not just that they designed a system that generates power with a moving rotor. Again, that's been done. Seiko has it with the kinetic, but that it works well enough to generate enough power to power this movement. I don't think that the Seiko kinetic movement generates enough power to do that. So I think that's where a lot of the innovation comes from. And it looks really cool. And of course you have the little lights and the optical sensor there for the heart rate monitor and the blood oxygen level meter. So why would you want to wear this watch? What does this do that the traditional watch doesn't do and that a smartwatch does do? It's a trade-off between both things. It's not a fully featured smartwatch, and it's definitely not a complete traditional watch there because it's electronic. So what do you have in the dial here? You have the time with hour and minute hand. There's lume on the hands and the hour markers, and then you have a hand at the bottom that has two dials. The one on the left here goes between 0 and 100, and that can serve multiple purposes. One of them is, of course, for the power reserve when you want to hit that. But another feature is to tell you your progress of your daily steps or activity. So it's late now, and I just wore this thing, so it's going to basically show 0. And the other side here, which goes between 0 and 200, would be for the heart rate monitor. So here we go. I just pushed that pusher once there. It's doing a little bit of a reading there. It's thinking, and then it's going to go ahead and then show you my heart rate there, which is sort of just under, looks like 60. So you pull up the app on the phone to get a little bit more of a precise reading, and that's where you can see some of the data like the tracked activity. You can track exercises with this, just like you can push I think the pusher up here, and it gets into exercise tracking mode, and then it uses GPS on your phone to show you distance. And again, using the app on the phone, there's more data there. So when you wear it, you have the time and you have activity tracking, plus the ability to do things like monitor your heart rate. And that's really what it is. It's a traditional watch that, because of Bluetooth connectivity, is sort of always going to be on time. And because of these other features, is going to do activity tracking, which a lot of people like. And it also looks like a traditional timepiece. I think that's really awesome, and they're also really attractive. On top of that, they're not crazy expensive. There's all kinds of things that Sequent can improve. For example, there's a couple little lights on the dial here, but there's nothing that lights up to illuminate the hour markers for darkness viewing, for example. So there's nothing that you would call a backlight or anything that assists with viewing. And the addition of features is just a matter of what can they put on the dial to look attractive, what's going to not use too much power. So there's a lot of areas that I think a product like this can develop. In addition to the sort of natural titanium, there's a DLC coated titanium, which is darker. And of course, there's a steel model, a couple of different dials. Not all of them have the semi-transparent look, different straps, quick release there. Strap is quite comfortable. I like the Sequent Elektron. I wore it on a daily basis for a while, and I found that it did a really good job of feeling good and being something that I just, again, it really matched my needs for both worlds in terms of being an activity tracker and a traditional watch. Clearly a niche product, not for everyone, but if you are a traditional watch lover that loves an attention to detail and high design and traditional watch features, but are curious about something a little bit more novel and interesting, boy, Sequent's a brand you got to look at. This specific version of the Elektron 3.2, known as the transparent blue, costs $853, and you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch.com. Thanks so much.